Happy Saturday, everyone. I just wanted to come on and share a short message that I felt maybe would resonate with whomever's ears it falls on. And this kind of is going to be illustrated through a reading that I did for someone, but I felt was a perfect depiction about what was coming through for me in my own personal experience. And so I feel like I want to title it, What is the Meaning of Life? What is my purpose? And this beautiful message comes up with this illustration that in us all, we are always going through this cycle of just knowing another layer of ourselves, right? And this is illustrated here by Vulva of Sadir, right? Or otherwise known as Freya, goddess of not only war, but of pleasure. She knows desires. And here she's so compassionate, she's connected to herself, she's shining brightly. And this kind of shows an example of something for me that came up where I found myself sort of running away from. And so highlighting this topic about spiritual gifts, your talents, your higher self, what I want to highlight is, are people successful because they were born with it? Are they just more talented than us in certain areas, and that's what leads to their success? Or could it be that they are so passionate, they are so in love that it drives them to fully devote, keyword devote, themselves to the practice of self-growth and knowing more about this area in their lives that that they're just known for, right? And so for myself, I actually, just some background, I grew up overweight when I was younger. I was never really active. I was never in sports. And this is his past. And let alone to be in a group setting, right? And I remember being the last person to finish the race when we were tested in PE, and I was the last one. Something along the way, 2 key points that came through today in my awareness was every single day we have the power to choose our decisions, the way, the direction of our lives are going to go. And the other one is, why was I avoiding from fully devoting myself a little bit more in terms of my scheduling for the next season with yoga and teaching and meditation? I have been experiencing some internal stressors at the mind level and the experience of life the past 2 weeks. So my own internal nervous system has been haywire. I could feel when my body is not calm like I generally am. And even sometimes I realize in these instances, I might need a little bit longer meditation time, rest times throughout the week, especially as my cycle approaches. And this highlights towards the second card, which is Beta of the Spirit Wolf. And so this card highlights that what is most necessary during these times of external stressors or possibly internal stressors that are going on in the body system is plenty time to rest and draw within. Because yes, the feelings of excitement or again, stress can come about from so many different various factors, but when we have too much of it, i.e. beta energy in the waiting state, our internal body system can become imbalanced. And when that happens, this leads to my next point, listening to our soul's truth, our higher truth. If you saw my post this week, I was starting to talk about the archetypes and how archetypes are essences that the universe expresses itself through imagery. And we see them depicted all through our life, in the waking and the dream state, right? And the higher dimensions as well, because we all are, in essence, an archetype of form being expressed, so that we can begin to get a clearer picture of the whole totality that is the universe. But it is hard to grasp the totality that is infinite, right? And so these archetypes that we can tune into, which is actually what I'll be leading us towards in the 8-week journey in December, journey to embodying your divine feminine, that we can use to tap into these energetic frequencies and express through ourselves in our day-to-day lives. So for instance, when there are moments when I find I need to ground myself a little bit more, or my prayer is before class, what is it that you want to be expressing through my body, through us today? In our practice, I start praying to and connecting to Lady Hathor, for sensuality, for rhythmic, a sense of not being ashamed of expressing myself. And also Lady Kali, when I'm leading a yoga class with weights, it's like tapping into that inner strength of feminine energy. And again, it's not letting the ego mind and the stories we've told ourselves to hold us back from expressing. And the thing is, we can't fully step into that if we are overwhelmed and clouded by too much noise in our vibrational field. And so that is where that beta spirit wolf comes through and says to know that essence of self, to know and tap into those archetypes, those energies that are already you, are expressions of yourself, right? Just in a different perspective, just in a different form. We have to get to know and be in tune with those essences of when we are in those higher vibrational frequencies and when we are not. So don't run away. This is the third reading. Be attitude of sacred rapture. And this is energy of polarity. The other aspect of self is, in these human experiences with the soul, is the shadow, ego, the part of the mind that attaches to storylines, to attaches to emotions, to thought forms. So, for example, today I explained meditation is that if you are coming through this door right behind me and we're about to come and meditate, but you are currently thinking about something else that you brought through that door, or feeling about something else that you brought through that door, and it did not come through this particular moment where we are right now, then that is ego attaching to something. And we have to know those moments too, those aspects of ourselves, because how else are we even going to know the voice of empowerment, the voice of creativity, of the divine source within you, if we do not shine the light and awareness to that? Keys of lower vibration. And so that lower vibration, we can use that as a metaphor with, imposter syndrome. And so that was what was actually happening to me. I was stalling myself from moving forward at a different level in this line that I've created in my reality, right? Like I said, from where I came from where I've experienced, because my mind was attached to a story that, who am I to move forward in this aspect? Who am I, with what skills, with what background, right, do I have, when in my past, this is how I grew up and this is what I've done. And spirit came through, higher source, my higher self, said, who are you not to be and to do this now? And keyword being now, today. So being fully present and channeling through those aspects of your higher self, right? Different aspects of you that come through you to connect and that want to work with you and help you out in situations in your whatever you're experiencing and going through, especially during this winter season that we are meant to go through and cultivate ourselves for the springtime, can be as access when we are in these stages and these states of neutrality, of calmness, of fully being present, mind, body, spirit, that vibrational frequency of presence when you are in a meditative state. And I'm not just saying the active meditation or just stillness, but it could be in that flow state of tapping in. And if we are in an imbalanced state / we are in a state of low vibration fear, we are being weighed down and clouded, and we cannot see with clarity of the divine light, that is when we are not able to tune into that energy and express it in a healthy way. And so it's important to know the distinction between those energetic frequencies, how to do it, because we want to serve and express our gifts for the highest good, and to express them, to share them, to not keep them to ourselves, because that is what ego will do. That is what my aspect of my own storylines, and I'm not, trying to beat up on ego or anything. I understand that we need polarity, or how else are you going to know yourself? So that we need to keep that in mind. But if we stay too much in our own storylines, what happens is you start blocking yourself, right? In essence, your ego, your human experience will begin to give out every single excuse as to why you shouldn't be expressing your truth, why you should not be sharing your gifts right now, when your gifts really could help somebody today. And so what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is to know your gifts and your talents and your passions. And I'm finding even more so now that as we go on to the next season of this work, that I'm finding that I'm being called to work with women who want to learn to integrate their higher selves in this lifetime now, to merge the spirituality with the physicality. And what that means is, okay, we're no longer trying to figure out what our purpose is. We're no longer stuck on what are our gifts, because that alone creates a sort of block. What we're trying to do now is not trying to figure out life. We are just trying to live it. And I think that is a different perspective and approach that just in itself allows for a release of expectations, a release of old beliefs, and at the same time, allowance to receive, to allow your heart to open, to follow those nudges, to follow your own inner wisdom that is always speaking to you and guiding you, and being brave enough to step into that. And so whether we work together with the High Priestess healing energy sessions, which really can come about through with you having a question or a concern, something you want to work on in your life, and I hear your story, I tune into what is needing to be addressed at the energetic level, physical level, mental, in terms of thoughts and beliefs, and then also looking into whether or not, it requires an oracle reading for clarity or energy healing work to be done, or a journey. There are different tools and modalities we can use, whether it be a one-time session or the 4-week mentoring sessions. We have that, or you can join us, you can join me and the beautiful souls that are being called to do this work in December leading up to January, which I think is a perfect time, because it also actually helps with not just setting in new intentions through the physical level aspect, but the desire is to work through the energetic level, spiritual level, so that we are at the same time as a collective sacred gathering are going to direct the energy in a more potent way. And so if this resonated with you at all, I'm always interested in receiving and hearing about your own perspectives from what you got from these messages today. And if you have any questions about the program in December, or about the healing sessions one-on-one, or the monthly mentorship work together, feel free to message me at divinecosmicjourney@gmail.com or DM me at my IG divine.cosmic.empress, and I will put that down in the details below. I pray you guys have a beautiful week and rest easy and rest well. Satnam.